It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, my pretty babies, what's going on? Lee Sanders with you guys for a special Thursday night edition of the RCWR Show for this Thursday of January 23rd, 2025. How y'all doing? I hope the week has been most kind to you all. Shout out to my people that are in the Southeast region of United States, as a lot of you guys got hit with some snow. Basically, what we were dealing with over a week and a half ago, because we had got it really, really bad a week and a half ago. It looks like you all are now getting what we pretty much had got. Hopefully, you guys are able to manage it better than how we were able to do it down here at our respected neck of the woods. Told you guys on our Monday show that I was playing around with the idea of doing a bonus show. I just wasn't sure if we were going to be doing it Thursday or Friday. And then Saturday night is still up in the air because I know they're doing Saturday night's main event, but I like to be out on the road working Saturday night. So I'm just not sure. I'm going to put a poll up. I will most likely put a poll up after this show. That way everybody has enough time to basically see it, because I'm kind of going off of what had happened with the last poll we put out. Apparently some of you guys weren't even aware that there was a YouTube poll that was out. That's why I always say to you guys, always go out of your way. Make sure you're double checking your notifications on that YouTube channel. Make sure everything is good to go. And then even if you don't get a notification, just periodically like, well, let me just see what's going on. You'd be surprised. I stay posting random stuff. Although I gotta say, social media wise, it seems as though a lot of people, what they are doing, this is what I've been noticing with some of my colleagues. They are posting stuff late at night while we all are sleeping. And apparently they're able to pick up followers that way as a result. I guess because like they tackle in late night owls, who's ever working graveyard shifts, doctors, like I could only imagine, but graveyard shifts and just people that maybe are insomniacs. And so it's kind of interesting what's going on with that. I couldn't help but look at that and go, really? Really? I don't know. To each its own. Like, if I happen to be up and I can't sleep, sure, that's one thing. I'd be more than happy to do some tweeting or whatever, some posting online. But no, I'm probably just gonna roll over and just, watch something on TV till I can go back to sleep and all that. Hey, we got a solid show lined up for you guys. Y'all picked a really, really good time to tune in. Nothing new at my end to be talking about. I'm excited for just the most simplistic things. I got to be honest with you guys. So, for instance, my calculator finally came. I have been looking forward to this calculator. Now, this isn't any old kind of calculator. I want to show this to you guys. As I need this for my math class that begins this coming week. And I am so excited to be heading back for another fun college semester, as we're in the end game. We're in the end game. You've probably heard me say that, but no, like 2 classes left. And That's it. And I'm done. I get my degree. But here it is here, so you guys can get a really good look. So this is a TI 84 plus CE graphing calculator. And so this is very, very, very complex stuff here because the class I'm getting ready to take, elements of statistics. From what I was able to research, I need a calculator like this. I can't get away with just a regular old calculator. It's funny because when I was talking to my wife about it, she goes, "Oh, yeah. I know exactly the type of calculator you're going to be needing. Yeah. You better get on YouTube and start looking up some tutorials now because it's a little bit complex there." I'm like, really? It's like, yeah. It's like, have you done it before? No. I'm just aware of it. I've kind of seen it in action. Yeah, you got your work cut out for you. Like, oh, but she gave me the vote of confidence. She said, if anybody can do it, hon, it's definitely you. Like, yeah. We'll see how that plays out. But no, I've got this class, and then I don't need this other class, but I really like the professor. I'm very fond of him, and I have a lot of respect for him. But it's an advanced video production class. So I said, what the hell? Now that one, I'm actually going to be coming out of my pocket on that one because my financial aid is only going to cover my math class. So for this video production class, I'm pretty much going to be flying solo. I don't mind that. I don't mind that because honestly, if it can, I'm like this, if it can expand my horizons when it comes to uh, eventually making the transition into working in TV news, radio, newspaper, right? Then I'm all fine for it. So that's kind of the main reason why I'm taking this advanced video production class. It's basically self-indulgent on that one. But I also want to, okay, tell me something that I don't know just yet, right? And plus, I like the teacher. I like the teacher. He's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So everything goes right with this semester. Basically, I'll be taking just one class during the summer, and then I'll be graduating that same summer. So I cannot wait. I'm excited. Before you all even ask, yes, I have submitted my paperwork as far as transferring to 4-year colleges. I have done that already. So it's just a matter of matter of fact, I'm waiting on one letter of recommendation from one of my professors, and that really is pretty much going to be. So I'm excited. Your man is definitely excited. Speaking of majors and journalism and all that other stuff, what about this crap that's been going on within the past 24 hours involving AEW wrestler Britt Baker? Did you guys happen to see how all that transpired? If not, we'll get you guys caught up to speed in no time here. Really, just I looked at this, and it's interesting because when I went into preparing this episode, it wasn't a challenge at all as far as, hey, what are we going to talk about here on the show? But the fact that this had transpired, it just feeds into that and the crap that was going on with Ross Sapp this week. Just those two things combined, it really is perfect examples, and furthermore solidifies what I've been talking about for years on this show to you guys, which is we've got wannabe journalists and marks that basically are ruining the wrestling industry, the wrestling and entertainment industry. And before anybody starts throwing up a pitchfork and damn you, Lee, screw you, man, and like, no, hear me out because I'm going to be making very valid points to what I'm saying. So let's first start off with this whole Britt Baker stuff. All right. So, in case you missed it, because we pretty much had addressed it here on the Monday night show in regards to Britt Baker, you got all this chatter that's around about how she's difficult to work with and allegedly, and we used those keywords. We said allegedly and all this other stuff, right? That Tony Khan has pretty much reached his pinnacle in working with Britt Baker allegedly, and that pretty much He's not firing her. He's just letting her sit on the sidelines because he's got a roster full of women so deep that he can afford to just pretty much let Britt Baker go chill at home somewhere and he can just focus on his other talents. And then to cue up Tony Braxton's how many ways allegedly has Britt Baker been butting heads with people backstage? You're like just all this stuff that's just resurfacing. Basically, allegedly, there's new stuff that's floating around there, but there's nothing that is officially firm and very concrete and everything. And one aspect that we did not go in depth more here on the show is, well, should Tony Khan, if he is in fact having this many issues with Britt Baker, should he maybe go on ahead and just say, okay, you know what, let's go on ahead and you know what, we're done, we're good. Don't let the door hit you on the ass. We're good. And I think for those of you that had checked out the Monday show and the show before that, in regards to the whole talk of Ray Phoenix, particularly, look, whether he likes it or not, whether some of you wrestling fans like it or not, this guy, he signed a contract and we went over everything in regards to, look, it's binding in a court of law. You will lose every single time because you signed a contract. The only thing Tony Khan got to do is just wave that bad boy, and yeah, you're going to be in breach of violation and all that. So, in regards to Britt Baker, I do want to say this as far as, oh, should Tony Khan be done with Britt Baker and yada, yada, yada. Same thing that I said in regards to Ray Phoenix. The same thing, we weren't going to talk about it until much later on, but stuff that's going on with Ricky Starks. Allegedly, Ricky Starks. Oh, nice. My 1099 form is ready to go. Well, appreciate that. Uh, with much like with Ricky Starks, allegedly he is ready to try to get out of there. Allegedly, he asked Tony Khan for his AEW release again, and Tony Khan is pretty much like, nope, 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 not gonna happen. Look, whether you all like Tony Khan or not, the one thing that you have to respect from a business standpoint, especially to you all out there that have your own respective businesses, you all are your own entrepreneurs and all that, and that's the fact that, this guy is standing his ground. If just saying, if the stuff that's floating around is true, and some of these people are coming up to Tony Khan and they're going, yo, I want that release. What's up? Yeah, shout out to Tony Khan for standing his ground, going, no, I've got you legally by a contract. Now, look, some people may say, well, damn, Lee, I mean, this contract, he can easily break it if he's not doing anything with them. Why not just go on ahead and release these guys and just let it? Well, look, that contract, going back to that contract, for however amount of money, that's the thing, however amount of money that was agreed upon, that wrestler is still going to be getting that money either way, unless Tony Khan draws up a new revised contract and has some stuff in there, some language in there where if that talent is trying to break that contract early, okay, well, then they're only going to be paid up to a certain amount, and that wrestler is going to have to agree to that. And then maybe there's some other caveats that's thrown in there as well, such as, and we can use Britt Baker for an example. Now, last we had heard, Britt Baker has signed a multi-year deal. Now, of course, when you hear multi-year deal, that could be, oh, maybe a year and a half, maybe just an extra 2 years, or maybe, right, it can mean anything. It can mean anything. But just for the sake of the argument, let's just say Britt Baker signed a contract that sees her with AEW until 2028, 2029. And let's just say Britt Baker wants out of AEW. So Tony Khan is supposed to just break that contract and let her go immediately to the competitor, whether that's WWE or New Japan or Stardom, whoever. Wow, like whoever. He's just supposed to break that contract and just let her go her merry little way. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And I appreciate Tony Khan standing his ground in regards to this because, look, many of you longtime listeners know I'm a big fan of NBA basketball. And the one thing that always perturbs me when it comes to the NBA is the fact that we've got these players, without mentioning any names, but you guys that know your basketball can think of some pretty damn good examples. We've got cats that will go, okay, well, you know what? I don't like the fact that for the past 3 years now, we haven't even made it to the playoffs, or we've got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. I'm tired of carrying this team. You know what? I I I want out. I don't want to play anymore. I want to go to another team. Well, not for nothing, but you signed a 10-year contract with this guaranteed money of blah 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 blah. I don't care. I want out. I want to go play elsewhere. I want to go elsewhere. And what a lot of these players will do is they will show up to practice out of shape like a mofo. They will uh, perform poorly on purpose. They'll say some stuff in the media, whatever, in order to force the hand of management, team owner, all that, to eventually, okay, look, let's just go ahead, let's just break this. And you don't see no, okay, well, look, we had you for X amount of years. So guess what? Those X amount of years, you're going to get your money, but you can't play for another team for that length of the, like, you don't see that happen in the NBA. These owners, these team managements, they just cave over and they allow, and it sucks because it hurts the game big time, especially when you've got certain organizations out there that's trying to build a super team and all of that, especially if they have the right type of budget and all that. So throwing it back to Tony Khan, I love the fact that this guy is pretty much standing his ground, assuming all of this stuff that's floating around is true. I love the fact that he's standing his ground and he's going, no, you're not going to punk my ass out. I know that, you've seen this guy over here, you've seen this guy over here, and yeah, you see what's going on over there with Paul Levesque and them, and it looks like they're having a lot of fun. That's the cool kids table right now when it comes to lunchtime, right? Everybody wants to be at that table during lunchtime, but no, 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 no. I got you. I got you for X amount. Wave that paperwork, baby. Wave that paperwork. I got you for X amount of time. Your ass is mine. So, Britt Baker, it's interesting what's going on with her because we've got all this stuff. Oh, allegedly this stuff happened behind the scenes with her, and she doesn't get along with this person, and she doesn't get it. You know what? That don't impress me much because let's apply this to the real world. Many of us can relate to this in the real world. In the real world where we work, we're trying to earn our living. There are individuals, coworkers, colleagues, whatever you want to call them, that we don't like. We don't like them. Every time maybe we hear their voice, oh shit, this motherfucker. Oh man, if there was just one time I wish that person could have called off from work. Today would have been a good day. I don't want to put up with their shit today. You're right. There's always something. No job is perfect. There's always going to be some aspects that you don't like. There's always going to be certain heads that you're going to clash with, but somehow you're going to persevere for the greater good of the company, usually, right? So hearing all this stuff about, rubbing people the wrong way and I don't care about that. I don't care about that. I've told you consistently for years, what I care about is what's happening with that wrestler in front of that camera when they are performing for us. That's what I care about the most. Whatever is going on in their personal life, tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. I've always been consistent. When it comes to whatever is going on with that wrestler's personal life, I don't care. It's none of my business. I feel that the only time whatever is going on with a wrestler's personal life, the only time it's like, wow. and it should warrant me and everybody else in the community to comment on it, is when that wrestler directly says, hey, XYZ, this is what's going on with me. Then it's, oh wow, okay. So for example, whether it's a situation where a wrestler reveals, hey, I just came from the doctor and I just found out that I have prostate cancer, and I'm gonna need to try to get surgery. Like, oh wow, damn, oh hey, so sorry to hear that. More power to you, praying for you, hoping for the very best, or a wrestler goes, hey, guys, one of my best friends or a family member, they just lost their home due to a really bad fire or whatever. And it's like, okay. Or maybe it doesn't have to be that severe. Maybe it's something that is just that's very personal, but very okay. This is open for discussion. And when it's open for discussion, we as podcasters, we as those that are vloggers, we that have these websites that are talking about whatever this said wrestler is putting out there that's so personal. If we're going to add an opinion to whatever it is that they're putting out there of their personal life, we need to make sure that for that respected audience that we're making that news be available to, it needs to be no mistake about it that what we're offering in there is an opinion, is a take, reacting to, and making sure that in regards to that opinion, all it is an opinion and nothing more and nothing less. That opinion is not fact. You feel where I'm coming from? So, Britt Baker, she didn't have to address this online, but she put out this tweet almost 24 hours ago where she said, and I quote, "Oh, no. We ain't having that. Hang on, guys. We had somebody just post in Facebook. They tried to post this weird virus thingamajigger, but I just saw it. Hey, don't even try. We doing Makimbe Matumbo tonight. You try to post some spam, trying to send our listeners some Trojan links and all that other shit. No. You getting blocked off the break. We ain't rolling like that. Anyway, Britt Baker, here's what she said almost less than 24 hours ago. I understand we as performers are expected to have thick skin through opinions and lies we read about ourselves. She's absolutely right. She's absolutely right. As I always like to say to wrestlers, sports athletes, entertainers, did I mention actors? I think I did. I always like to say, yo, don't pay attention to all that noise because that's all it is at the end of the day. It's noise. We've got people that are trying to get a rise, trying to get a reaction or whatever. Let them do what they're going to do. If it ain't putting money in your pocket and all that, like why even add fuel to that fire? Why even interact with these knuckleheads? Because 9 times out of 10, soon as you pull up their profile, you're gonna see that motherfucker got about 5 followers. And right, let's be real, right? You look at the avatar. The avatar is usually a cartoon or it's a blank avatar. Okay, they're following like a gazillion fucking amount of people, and their followers is usually like 5, 10, 20, maybe 30 if you're lucky. Okay. So she's absolutely right from that standpoint. She goes on to say, but spreading lies about my personal life is just low, weird, and something I won't tolerate. So you hear that, you're like, how do we get to that point? Okay, obviously something about her personal life. What exactly is going on here? And one of the first things that you see under Britt's post here, shout out to Mike Wrestling Memes. He goes, the wrestler formerly known as Max Moon is a gossip girl. Max Moon, also known as Conan from the Keeping It 100 podcast. I like listening to Conan Disco. I like they do a pretty good job. You know, when you want to know certain things, you know, I think they shine pretty good. You want to know little innuendos behind the scenes of the business and all that. They do a pretty good job and everything. So to hear that, wait a minute, really? Conan? Like, are we sure Conan? Like, nah, that can't, no, can't Conan. No, that can't be. I've never heard of Conan go in that kind of direction. That can't be right. And then other people were going, oh, it's other dirt sheets. I know Wade Keller was thrown in there. Wasn't the wrestling purist guy Alfred Abayu? I'm trying to think of his name, but and I apologize if I butchered the hell out of that last name. But then everybody's going, no, 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 no. It was Abuyu. He had to do with it. It was him that initially had sparked it and everything. And so I'm doing this research. I'm looking, and eventually you're seeing that there was two main individuals that what's the right word that I'm looking for that gave weight to this rumor that was floating around here. And those are the two names that I had mentioned. Now, going with, because I'm trying to see if I can pull up my screenshot here. Let's just go with all photos. I tell you what, when it comes to the iPhone, one feature, and maybe you guys can tell me, but because if I can disable it, that'd be great. I hate when at times when they try to mention certain photograph memories through the years, because if I save the image last, well, I want to go and easily retrieve that. I don't want to go scrolling through an archive of freaking photos and all that. Shout out to Pro Wrestling Counselor who says saying it wasn't a formal report and then apologizing isn't an apology. It's also weird that he mentioned her apologizing to him as if he were the victim, of course, referring to uh, Abayu, of wrestling purists. Here's what he had to say in regards to the Britt Baker situation. The Britt Baker cheating rumor was one that was circulating for a long time, far before I ever acknowledged it. And her most recent post came after Conan spoke about it on his show. That said, I did contribute to this when I made an ill-advised joke during a period when my account was locked. Now, let me just pause right there. So, on the one hand, you're saying, yeah, this is so weird. So, on the one hand, you're saying you did contribute to this when you made an ill-advised joke. But then you're saying during a period when your account was locked. Like that shouldn't matter. It's like he's trying to stay face here. He's trying to save himself because he's saying it was immediately deleted. It's like no 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 no. And you all know my golden rule when it comes to social media, all right? But for newer listeners, I have a golden rule. If I am writing something that is to be made public on social media, before I hit that post button, I'm taking a step back. I'm looking at that and I'm reading it back to myself, not once, but twice. And if I hesitate just 1 second, just 1 second after I've read it, yeah, I probably shouldn't be putting it out there. I'm going to let it be. I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to even post it. I might save it as a draft and come back and look at it a couple hours later or the next day. And if I still feel the same way, that shit probably ain't getting published, fam. Okay. So he goes on to say it was immediately deleted, but was still in poor form and shouldn't have been made to my audience of 30,000 plus. Or shouldn't have been made public. Okay, whatever. Baker followed me shortly thereafter, and I reached out to her at that point. I just had a very positive conversation with Britt Baker, who reached out essentially apologizing for any trolls that came my way. Now, pause. I do like, why should Britt be apologizing? Well, yeah, why is Britt apologizing? Britt should not be apologizing. If anything, this guy should be apologizing for his part in whatever damage was caused by adding more fuel to the fire for this rumor that is floating around and now is pretty much being treated like fact. He goes on to say, among numerous things, I made it very clear to her that none of my contributions to this were formal reports and still apologize for feeding into it. Well, that's good. At least, this guy pretty much took accountability and all of that good stuff, right? So that's good. Now, as far as, hey, did Conan happen to say anything yet? Well, I'm looking at his official social media account right now just to see if he said anything. And I am not seeing anything on Conan. Conan has not posted anything yet. And if you go on social media, you can easily see the screenshots. A lot of people reference Conan bringing up Britt Baker's personal status and all of that. So basically, we got this gospel that's running around, this gossip that's running around that Britt Baker allegedly was cheating on Adam Cole, and Adam Cole found out, and that's why the relationship is pretty much no more. I don't know who created that. I really don't. But those of us that have a pair of eyeballs and at one point was paying attention to both of these guys when they were still together on social media. Hell, you even go back to that. What was the name of that AEW show that they had on the air very briefly? Was it Unscripted? Was that what it was called? They were trying to do like a reality TV show thing. And we were following Adam Cole as he was trying to get cleared to make his way back into the ring. And, we were following him, and Britt Baker happened to be right there, and she was stating her concerns. We were seeing Adam Cole's parents and other family members. You could genuinely tell that all the family members on Cole's side really loved Britt Baker. You could tell they really had true affection for her and all that. Basically, what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is you could tell that these two genuinely were in love with one another. And just to hear that the idea, the notion that, oh, well, she was cheating on him with no, I hate to burst the bubble, but let's be real. This is nothing more than the fantasy of, sick little perverts out there. They would like for it to be them instead of Adam Cole, who was so fortunate. Like, you don't believe me? Just type in Britt Baker and just look at the number of sad, horny, neckbeard looking guys that's on there. Britt Baker's so hot. Oh, if I had Britt Baker for one night, like, right, just go scrolling and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about and everything. All right. So it's unfortunate that she even had to respond to this crap because all it is crap. And I love the fact that when she ended the post that she had on there, she ended it with, I've never cheated on anyone in my life. Hashtag tell your source. And she's absolutely right, and to Conan, I'm like this. I don't care if it was Conan. I don't care if it was the wrestling purists, whoever it was that got this started and all of that shit. Look, this is pretty much the day and age that we're kind of in right now when it comes to wrestling reporting. You know, we've got individuals that's got these websites and everything. They're trying to figure out ways that they can get clicks, hits, the impressions, get the engagements and all of that. And we'll have some that just downright will make up a damn lie just to get those engagements, just to get people talking and all that other shit. And when it turns out, oh, that's inaccurate, that's actually not true whatsoever. Do you think that they're gonna scale back and oh, we messed up, we need to issue an apology, we need to, you know, hey, we want to, no, they're not going to issue publicly a formal apology and all that other shit. No, instead what they're going to do, they're going to go on ahead and they're just going to move on to the next news item, because it's pretty much, hey, we got the clicks, we got the impressions, we got the engagements, that's what we wanted, mission accomplished, okay, next. That's just the nature of the beast. I've told this story before. I don't mind sharing it again for newer listeners. I'm reminded so many years ago, and I do mean many years ago, I had interviewed Shawn Michaels, and it was for his Wrestling for My Life book. And he actually ended up doing a very small, short book tour. Part of that book tour brought him close out here to the DMV area, Virginia. I think it was Tyson's Corner. And me and the wifey, we had went and met him for that book signing and everything. It was a great experience and everything. But I remember when I interviewed him leading up to his tour dates, one of the questions that I asked him had to do with Triple H. And I asked him something along the lines of, obviously this was way before Triple H started having the heart issues and he had to get surgery, all of that stuff. And I said to Shawn, hey, if Paul Levesque Triple H were to ask you to come out of retirement because he wants to have his one last match be against you, would you be down for that? Would you be receptive to having conversations? And I remember HBK said something along the lines of, and it was interesting how he answered the question, because he didn't directly, it wasn't a yes or no. It was just pretty much, you know, hey, if Hunter needs me for anything, he knows he can get in contact with me. And, you know, it's been a while since I've heard from him and everything, but I know he's so busy, you know, with everything that he's doing with the company and everything. But, you know, whatever he needs, I'm more than happy to answer his phone call and talk about it and see what's up. So in a way, he was kind of answering what I was putting out there, but not really. And then once you know, I couldn't even tell you, fam, what site it was that, but somebody decided, you know what? This needs to be dressed up. How can we dress this up? Oh, got an idea. Let's say that Shawn Michaels has had some type of beef with Triple H, that Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they're having beef, and as a result, Shawn Michaels hasn't been in touch with Triple H for years or some shit like that. And the next thing you know, what started off as a wow, what a really good interview, turns into, wait, what? And I just remember one day, it was like almost not even a week after I did the interview with Shawn Michaels. And it wasn't a vanity search thing. No, not at all. If anything, I was trying to see how many wrestling media outlets had picked up on my interview and was sharing, and I wanted to see the comments, you know, to see what people were thinking and everything, and you know how many people went out of their way to listen to the interview, because not for nothing, the interview, my God, it was probably 12, maybe 13 minutes, so very easy to digest way back then, very easy to digest. And that's how I saw, wait a minute, what started off the original question, now we've turned it into this gossip piece. And I ended up seeing people that were doing a lot of copy and pasting on their sites. And I'm telling them, hey, this is a bogus story. What you're putting out there is fake as fuck. Like, did you even listen to the interview? That was my question. I was like, did you even listen to the interview? Because had you actually listened to the interview, you would have discovered for your own ears that wasn't even said. Like, that's not even close to what's actually in the interview. And I called all of these sites that I hit up, dead to rights. I caught them. They were like, oh, we just copied and pasted. I'm like, why are you mad at us? I was like, because if you fucking are supposed to be a news regurgitator, as I like to call them, because all they do is just regurgitate, they copy paste from, whoever. It's like, if you're going to call yourself a news site, a wrestling news site, you should at least have the common sense, especially since you're going to embed the interview on your own site. You should at least have the common sense, especially since it's a bite-sized interview, to go in, listen, verify. Oh, man. Oh, my God. And let me tell you something. That sucked big time because Shawn Michaels, word got back to Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels blocked my social media accounts as a result. And that was despite the fact that I went to one of my friends at the time, who was associated with a major wrestling news media site. Very kind of told him what was going on. He was very kind enough to put out a release, following up saying, hey, you guys maybe have seen this report floating around that Shawn Michaels, like, if you listen to the interview, like, that's actually not even nowhere close to what's said. And other sites did pick up, but the ones that wanted to, no, we're gonna take this, we're gonna make some gossip, some juicy gossip out of this, and we're gonna go from there. The damage was already done. They pretty much got their engagements and all that, and they moved elsewhere. Right. So for those of you that don't know, this is the nature of the beast. And then you will have other individuals, sites that will go out of their way because, heaven forbid, they don't particularly like that wrestler, and or they don't particularly like that wrestling promotion. Then they will do what they can to smear the name of that wrestler and or smear the name of that promotion, just to hurt, just to be a dick, just to hurt. So some of them have that respected agenda as well. So try to have all of that going on in the back of your mind. But very appalling, isn't it, when you hear stuff like this? So appreciate Britt Baker. She didn't have to address it whatsoever, but she body slammed the hell out of that crap. But wait, it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just stop there. Let's talk about this other piece of news, and because it ties so perfectly to the Britt Baker stuff. Let's also talk about what was going on there with Ross Sapp. Now, for those of you that maybe did not hear about this, Ross Sapp went back and forth with this Air Gold account. This is all on X, formerly known as Twitter. So it looks like Air Gold decides he wants to have a live space. And for those of you that don't use X, basically a live space is something you can create and basically you can create it with your phone, but there's no visuals that's shown. Basically, you're going live, and it's almost like you can do a live radio show or a live podcast with your phone or your tablet. The only thing you just need to make sure is you allow for that respected device to capture live audio, right? And when you're doing that, a whole bunch of people can join in. They see you're live, they get the notification, and if they want to, they can just hop in. They'll automatically be muted, but they're listening. So it's almost like you're listening to your own little personal radio show when you visit these live air joints. So Air Gold does this thing. He titles it Air Gold versus SRS. All right, Sean Ross Sapp. Okay, whatever. And Sean Ross Sapp is in a fit, or a raging fit, because some news, well, unverified news, let's call it that. Let's call it unverified news. Let's call it a unverified report, because apparently Air Gold and Sean Ross, apparently they were very friendly with one another. Air Gold, definitely a friend of the guys at Fightful, definitely a friend for the folks over there at Ringside News and all those other wrestling websites. He would always share their postings and show them love if he was citing stuff, all of that, right? So good guy doing it right. But there's this one thing that was shared between Ross and this account. And this account decided that they were going to put that piece of information out there. And, well, Sean didn't like that. And Sean is just reading this guy. You can hear this audio for yourself. I'll actually queue up some of this so you can hear some of this. But he's actually giving this guy the riot act. And shout out to Air Gold, because Air Gold is very calm, very cool, not yelling back. And my whole thing is, man, if you're going to have a conversation with somebody, have a conversation with somebody. But most importantly, make sure you're matching energy of that person that you're talking to. If somebody is coming at you very calm, cool, collected, match that energy. That is not what Sean was doing right here with this. I mean, he was belittling the hell out of this guy, chastising him. And what's so crazy about all of this, when you look at Air Gold's account, shout out to Elon Musk for doing this, getting it set up this way. But when you go to Air Gold's account, one of the first things that you see is that it's a fucking parody account. So you're already going, okay, so basically whatever you're putting out there, all right, I'm supposed to have a ha. Okay, gotcha. Let's see if we can load this up. And there isn't a person. So let's connect this to the, I got to connect my phone. And we should be good after this. It's still thinking. Why you still thinking? Just connect. I don't know why it's doing that. It's just loading up. Hang on. Not connected. Bluetooth. Let's try one more time. Because if I can connect, then you guys can hear the audio without any issues whatsoever. That's weird. Bluetooth is not connecting tonight. Let me try this real quick. Hang on, guys. And let's turn it back on. Let's pair. And let's connect. This should do the trick. Yep, there we go. We're connected now. Okay. And we're connected. So it looks like what happened before, it was my mixer was connected to my iPad and not the phone. Listen to this.
I posted two things. I posted the evidence for both, and there isn't a person.
Well, you posted the evidence for both?
Yes.
Without context. You posted it void
Perhaps
of
the source
context.
can provide context. We can get that. We can have that be made available.
Sure. And what you said was, after not citing it whatsoever, well, somebody will just debunk it if it's not true. That is not the way that works. Just because you are not a journalist does not mean that you just blurting out anything makes you void of any responsibility. That's why I reached out to you both last week and today about the things that you posted. That way I could do my job and figure it out. Then I've got you running your mouth saying, well, get to work. You should go and find this out then. Well, that's what I was trying to do when I messaged you last week and said, where did this come from?
You came with hostility.
Now, don't give me that hostility bullshit. I reached out to you twice over things.
There's ample evidence of you.
I
coming into people's
don't
faces,
care if I
DMs,
reached out with hostility. I
screenshots,
reached out to you twice last week.
Exhibiting a clear lack of responsibility, clear lack of and
whoa, lack of responsibility for what?
For releasing information.
For what?
You shared a screenshot. You shared information that was kept between us.
I shared information that I asked if it was accurate. And was it accurate? Was that screenshot accurate of you engagement farming? No. You brought it up.
I shared a rumor. I can use
no. You just brought it up. You said that it was hostile of me to share that.
I tweeted a rumor.
Brother, you're talking in circles. What are you? You said it was hostile. You said it was hostile of me to share that message that you sent to a number of people.
Initial response.
What was my initial response? Go ahead. Read it verbatim. Read it out loud verbatim.
Sean, we've gone over this.
Yes, we have. And it's me indicating to you and to anybody else reading, this is a guy who I have had to reach out to a number of times about posting misinformation and telling you, by the way, posting, somebody will just clean it up if it's wrong, is not the way it works.
Sean,
and if you want, don't Sean me. No. You are void of any responsibility just because you're not a journalist. But
let's pause right there. You know, and again, when you go to this AirGold account, one of the first things that you see is when you pull up their profile, it says clear as day, parody account. So you're automatically going, okay, so I'm not taking any news, anything that I'm reading on this account, I'm not taking it as legit because it's a parody account. Okay, great. Because Lord knows in the past, before Elon even stepped in on X and all that, boy, it was running rampant. There would be parody accounts just all the time. And sometimes you would see something, oh, wow, get the hell out of here. Hey, hon, hey, look at this news. And it turns out, no, that's fake news. It's from a parody account. And once Elon entered the picture and you started, you know, initially parody accounts were getting strikes. They were being terminated off of the site. But then I guess Elon said to himself, well, no, you know what? As long as we can somehow put a distinction title on there that it's a parody account, right? Especially if these people are willing to pay for their accounts, they're willing to pay for those badges. And at the same time, they definitely are going out of their way to let it be known what type of an account they are, then yeah, sure. What the hell? Let's do it. And so, you know, now you have a lot of people that's doing it. So, you know, first off, we got AirGold, you know, parody account. The other thing, you know, we've got Sean that has said a couple of times now, you know, you let a journalist, and it's like, well, wait a minute, Sean, wait a minute here. Because are you really a journalist? Because you, last I heard, you didn't go to college, you didn't go to a community college at least and get some training that way. You didn't go to a 4-year college. So, you know, we're talking about basically somebody that's writing and covering wrestling, which I'm not going to say like some people, oh, it's a fake sport, you know, but hey, as far as the winners and losers, yes, that's known well and advanced. Is there a certain level of choreography? Yes, but the men and women that perform for us in that ring every single week, they definitely are athletes, because the average man and woman definitely can't do what they're able to do. These men and women regularly get injured regularly. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into that, but when it's all said and done, like, no, Sean, you're not a journalist. What you are is a wrestling reporter, maybe we can kind of call you that. But a journalist, no, you're not a journalist. Hate to say that, but that's the God's the honest truth. So let's keep listening to this.
To
What I'm hearing
peddle
from you is I need
rumors
to
like you
add
are.
a parody label to my account.
Well, if he's spreading rumors and he has a parody tag to his joint, now where I would probably be devil's advocate a little bit on Air Gold is okay. So what's going on here? Were you trying to create your own buzz? Were you trying to create engagements and all that off of this information that Sean gave you, and you were trying to capitalize on it? And your whole thing was, well, if it turns out, any part of this turns out the end to be inaccurate, none of it is true, stuff needs to be rebuked and all that. Well, the pros will come in and they'll do it. Well, first of all, I think one needs to decide what type of an account are you going to be? Are you going to be a parody account that just likes making bogus news, all that other shit? Or are you going to be one that no, we get breaking news, we get really good sources, and no, it's legit what we're putting out there. Like, you can't double dip. It's got to be one or the other. You can't have it both ways. So it kind of sounds to me that whatever conversations Sean was having with Air about whatever information he had came across, he pretty much let Air know, hey, I need a little bit more time to really go into this and figure out what's what. But Air, it seems as though he did not want to wait. And I guess for the clicks and engagements, decided, let me go ahead and just roll the dice. Let's see what happens with this. I want the engagements. That's what it sounds like it was all about.
I don't care what you do. I care what you did.
I add a parody label. And
I don't.
The problem gets resolved.
Okay, so by that sense, nothing that you say holds any weight, and that's fine. But you didn't do that.
Because
that's the point. You're out there aggregating people's news, using it for engagement.
Sean,
there's that thing that we're talking about again. We just talked about the whole Shawn Michaels stuff, right? We just talked about the whole Shawn Michaels thing and how, what did I call them? Regurgitators, right? Aggregators. Now, I like calling them regurgitators because all they do is just copy, they go spit it in this direction and all that. I can't fucking stand them. I got more love for wrestlers, wrestling fan accounts. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I like the accounts that, I got a Charlotte Flair fan page that's following me, and I'm looking at their account. Oh, they love all things Charlotte Flair. So anytime somebody's saying something nice about Charlotte Flair or whatever, they're finding Charlotte Flair news posts and all that, and they're just putting that out there for their respected followers. Okay, I got more respect for them than I do with these regurgitator fucking accounts. If you ask me, there's too many of these damn regurgitators anyway.
But you don't want the responsibility that comes with it.
This is a free app where we can tweet whatever we want.
That's great, and I am free, and I am free to do the same thing. Then why am I not free to do the same thing?
Then what are we talking about, Sean?
We're talking about, I don't know. You're the one that fucking cried a river about it and said that I bullied you.
We're on the same page then. I think we're on the same page.
And what I told you is if you wanted to keep doing that, I'll just quote tweet you and debunk you. I won't even reach out and say this isn't accurate. What I will do is just quote tweet you and say, this guy's lying, or this guy's making it up, or this guy's peddling bullshit. I told you that. You sat in my DMs demanding that I take tweets down and apologize to you. Claim that I bullied you. Said that I slandered you.
So here's the agreement then.
No, there's no agreement. No. There's no agreement. You were making demands. You said you better get to work
on Twitter because that's what Twitter is for. You tweet whatever you want. I will tweet whatever I want. If I'm wrong, debunk me, quote me, ratio me. No problem.
Ratio him. Ratio?
That's literally what I said I would do hours ago. And then you made a fucking. Then what, are you gonna let me talk, or are you gonna shut the fuck up?
Sean,
What's it gonna be? No. Every time I say something, it's Sean. What are we doing here? Sean, what are we doing here? Either you're gonna let me talk or you're not.
We have an understanding.
We do not have shit.
I will tweet whatever I want.
I said that
wrong,
literally.
me, right?
Shut
that's
the fuck up, dude. Man, do you ever shut the fuck up?
Sean,
I said this. God damn, man, you never shut the fuck up.
No, I don't.
Good God, you're a fucking moron, man. You are sincerely one of the dumbest people I have ever interacted with on this app, and boy, does that cover a lot of ground.
Okay.
It covers. Think about how dumb some of the people I've had interact with me. You are by far the dumbest.
Cook me. Okay, good.
I'm gonna let this play.
I said all this hours ago, and then you whined and cried and made a fucking straight. Shut the fuck up, weirdo.
I'm gonna let this play for 2 more minutes.
Stream that said Ergo versus SRS because you can't get anybody to pay attention to you for shit you do on your own.
Titles from Fightful.com that invite people to click on articles and click on
which, by the way,
so hence why
you use for engagement because nobody is interested in the shit that you have to say on your own.
And that's okay.
Sure, but you're not going to sit here and say, "Well, you know, it's because you do clickbait and all that stuff." Man, you don't give a fuck about any of that. You are an engagement farmer. That's it. You have no discernible talent or ability whatsoever.
Articles that people click on.
You have no sources whatsoever to speak of. You're sitting there peddling stuff saying rumors say, like you're fucking Mean Gene Okerlund in the 90s.
Sean, I am not a reporter. I don't have sources. I don't claim to have sources.
Wrestling fans, you need to pick up the phone and call 1-900 whatever.
You sat there and claimed that I demanded you turn over your sources. You said this in messages. The tweet's public. The tweet is public.
Yes, it's public. And future tweets will be public as well. And if I'm incorrect, you're
dumb, man.
You can ratio me.
I am baffled at how fucking stupid you are. I almost can't believe it.
Oh, fuck.
I'm mind boggled that all this is because you want fucking Hangman and Swerve on TV more. The two people who, by the way, have probably been featured as much as anybody the last two. It's insane.
Not recently, Sean. Not recently.
Oh my God.
Swerve has been doing backstage.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. Don't care.
You do care though.
Save it for another show. I don't care. You are irresponsible. You do not know what you're talking about. You actively bragged about ignoring me correcting you about misinformation. You do not care about that. You're not going to pretend
Sean,
you do.
Good night.
You claimed that I bullied you.
Now, the only thing that was like really cool about all this, I love the fact that Ergo, like, he got tired of dealing with the and kudos to him, but he got finally fed up with Sean constantly yelling at him and all that. He kicked him out of the live space. That part was fucking hilarious.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Oh, hang on.
Sit down.
What the hell?
You're an asshole.
Well, hey. That's not from that same. That was a different clip altogether. But yeah, so like this is what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand, for the love of me, fam. If this guy is an idiot, that you know, Sean's own words. If this guy is an idiot, you know, he's a goddamn fucking idiot. He won't shut the fuck up. You know, what he's doing, you know, he's not right. All these, then why is Sean taking the time out to go into this guy's live space where tons of other people are able to come in and listen to this? Like, why is Sean even wasting the time? Why is he wasting the energy? If this guy is essentially beneath him, then why is he going out of his way to partake in? Because when it's all said and done, guess what? You can talk all you want about, hey, when you're on your own, you can't get any clicks. You can't get any engagements. Okay, yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, Sean, it takes two to tangle. So if this guy can't do anything on his own, why are you lending your name, your likeliness, your image? Why are you doing a live space with him? Because that is going to give this guy ultimately the engagement. That's going to give him the clicks. That's going to give him XYZ. You know, you can't help but wonder, like, okay, what's going on here with Sean, right? And there's a simple answer for that. I want you guys to just marinate on that and see if you can come to the same conclusion that I am, because we're going to circle back to why Sean is operating this way. Look, the most simplistic thing to do in this situation would have been to pick up a phone, call this guy, and or I don't know if you can do a private live space. I have not played around with X. I would need to rely on you all to tell me if that can be done or not. I don't know if Fightful has a Discord. If they do, that's like essentially another way. Or you got Zoom, you got Google Hangout. My whole thing, there's plenty of options where these two could have hammered things out one-on-one and everything. It did not need to be a spectacle of an event for all to hear on social media. Now, have you guys thought about why Sean partaked in this whole thing? Because the guy can't help himself. He can't help himself. He likes the drama. He likes the attention, whether it be good, bad, indifferent. He likes the attention. He's drawn to it. He is drawn to it. And I can't tell you how many times off and on over the years. And I stopped following Sean Ross Sapp a long time ago, but I remember years and years prior, I would always say to Sean, dude, why are you going back and forth with, like, just keep doing your thing, just stay the course? Like, why are you even wasting this unnecessary time and energy, dealing with people like this? Now, Sean has dealt with, contrary to what he might have said about Eric Gold, I've actually seen him deal with much worse of people on social media. And but he is drawn to it. And that is a big difference between a journalist, an aspiring journalist, versus what Sean is doing, which is, at the end of the day, he's just covering men and women in tights. Sports entertainment. He's not even covering, I hate to say this, it breaks my heart, but he's not covering a real sport. What he is covering is a scripted weekly television series, be it from AEW, TNA, WWE. That's all he's essentially doing. That's it. This isn't a case where he's covering the NBA or he's covering boxing. He's covering, that's not the case at all. Now, somebody's probably going to say, no, Lee, he's actually covered, but has it been to the point with the MMA, the basketball, has it been to the point where he's gotten press passes to cover those events? Has it gotten to the point? Let me tell you something. My friend Julian Cannon, shout out to him from Digiday and the Nocturnal. Julian is more of a journalist than Sean Ross Sapp, because Julian has gone to so many red carpet premieres. He's moderated so many panels for Walking Dead and other stuff. He's done Super Bowl coverage. Matter of fact, I think he's getting ready to do his third sideline news reporting of the Super Bowl for his respected media outlet. He has done more, he's got more of a portfolio of, okay, this guy is definitely a journalist, versus what Sean is doing, because Sean hasn't even scratched the surface. He hasn't even begun to scratch the surface of what he's doing here. I can't help but think about the wrestlers from WWE, TNA, NWA, you name them, that maybe at some point granted Sean Ross Sapp an interview and everything. And it's like, you guys essentially are feeding this beast. I won't say a monster, but you're feeding this beast, and you all are cool with that. Because at the end of the day, what Sean Ross is no different than Air Goat, which is a glorified fan. That's it. That's it at the end of the day. And it's very mind-boggling to see, because think about it for a second. Be real with yourselves for a second. How many of you all have seen your favorite journalists, basketball, local news? How many of you all have seen your favorite journalists go at a listener, a supporter, or you fill in the blank, like Sean did with this Air Goat person? I bet you all are going 0. Right, because somebody that truly consider themselves to be part of the journalism industry, they're not going to, there's a reason why you're not going to see them roll like that. There's a reason why when you tune in to your favorite local news media station, no matter what's going on in politics, why you're not going to hear them. Well, I personally think that President Trump got it wrong on XYZ, or President Biden got it wrong on. Hey, you're not going to hear them. It's not their job to do that. That's not what they're being paid for. They're being paid to report the news. That's it. They're not being paid to offer their personal opinion and all that other stuff. Now, if it's a case where they're writing for a newspaper and they've got to give an opinion piece on something, then that's definitely what they're going to do. And you're going to know in black and white that what you're checking out is an opinion piece. But there is a reason why, when you're paying attention, you're like, hey, I wonder why this journalist doesn't talk about XYZ. Wonder why they're not offering their opinion on. Yeah, because no, that's uncharted territory. If they were to operate the way we would like them to operate, you know how many of them would probably be out of a goddamn job? Even if it was a situation where their comments, it's warranted, they're not gonna jump out there. Seeing all this stuff that's been going on over the years, it's led me to a two-parter. One is, there really isn't journalism in wrestling. Took me a long time to really come to that conclusion. Better now than ever, right? But it took me a long time because I was always under the impression that, no, you know what? There is some really good journalism in wrestling. Now, some people will say, well, Dave, what about Dave Meltzer? Yeah, but Dave Meltzer, who actually did go to school, he's got a degree, journalism and all, but he's hurt himself big time over these last handful of years, and all the stuff AEW Tony Khan related. He's really hurting. He's really hurt his legacy. I feel big time. Some people may say, well, what about Mike Johnson, PW Insider? There seems to be a guy that, no matter what, personal agendas, like no matter what, he's one that always just keeps his head to the ground, and he's always reporting. He's using his respected sources. Yeah, you could look at Mike Johnson and say, yeah, he's definitely like you haven't heard him in any controversy or none of that stuff. If anything, you hear more about the owner of PW Insider than you do with Mike Johnson. You don't hear about Mike Johnson getting into it with people on social media and all that other stuff. It's led me to another interesting situation, which is, when did things take a corner? in regards to wrestling reporting? How did we get to this point? Where, remember where I talked about a couple of weeks ago, John Cena? What was it? It was the Monday Night Raw on Netflix post show, the very first one. And he was talking to members of the media, if I'm not mistaken. Go back and check that out, because I remember bringing it up on not the post show, but I think we did a show on Wednesday or a couple of days afterwards, where Cena essentially said, "Hey, I wish more members of the media was here to cover," right? Because he kind of seemed a little bit baffled by the fact that, wow, there's not that many members here of the media, that's covering this whole thing. Like, what the hell? You know, just thinking about everything. How did we get to this point with regards to the reporting on wrestling and all that? How did it get to the point where Joe Smo Flow can just tights and whistles.com, your source for all things wrestling news, and they're just a regurgitator? Like, how did we get to this point? Here's a simple answer for that, fam. Simple answer to that. We got to this point, honestly, largely due in part to the various, I'll just throw it out there. I'm trying to find the right words. So I'm just going to, if it doesn't make sense, just let me know. We got to this point two ways. One, we got to this point through Google Spaces, little Hangouts, Zoom, the OBSs, the StreamYards, all that stuff, the blog talk radios, all that stuff. What seemed like, well, this is impossible to do. This is an impossible feat to try to take on, to try to embark on and everything. You're talking to somebody that has grown up and seen the evolution of media consumption, particularly wrestling media consumption, and how it's approached, right? As far as how it's covered and all of that. And I can remember a time where you wouldn't hear no radio station. That would not fucking matter if WWE was in town for a WrestleMania or whatever. Yeah, your best bet was Howard Stern back in the day. Your best bet was Howard Stern. How the times have changed. But I remember a time period where if you weren't calling a 900 number for wrestling news, or you weren't dialing into a 800 number or whatever, or a local phone station, right? 'Cause a lot of the shows back in the day, that's how they would do it. They would get themselves a telephone line, 800 or a 900 number, and you basically would call in and you'd be listening to the show that way and get your wrestling news in that format, basically. Remember the old days too, where some of those times, once those shows would be over and done with, the way back in the day, the weird process that was done to upload episodes to the websites and all that. Like, we've come a long way from that. But then you look at the next evolution of wrestling news, its consumption, the reporting, and all of that. That next wave came from the Zooms, from the Google Hangouts, all of that. And then when you're looking at the evolution of, we're starting to understand what's going on with these websites. What at first might have seemed very complex, it's actually very, very simple. We can do a wrestling website with just a blog, and we can post XYZ that way. Yeah, I remember a time when it just used to be Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Meltzler, Dave Meltzler newsletter, and that pretty much was it. Like back in the day when you really wanted to know what was going on, those were your main two. And how the times, the evolution of it has changed. But see, there's a big difference here. There's a big difference here. You have so many options now, but the people that are behind some of these favorite sites that you all like and everything, the heads behind these sites, boy, in comparison to how the Meltzers, the Mike Johnsons, there's one individual, I'm blanking out on his name right now, started off as a respected photographer, Bill Apter, the great Bill Apter, who's still doing it all these years later. You know, all these individuals, even though Meltzer has changed, you still got to put him in that category with the rest of them. They cared greatly about the industry in which they were covering, so much so that, and again, what they all have in common, they were showing it the proper respect, and you know, they weren't being a mark for themselves. And that's the big difference, because when you look at today's crop that's running around covering wrestling, they are marks for themselves. They are marks for themselves from the standpoint of, look at who I get to interview. Look at who I get to interview. Look at the fact that I get to go to this wrestling event. I get access to this VIP box. I get access to the press conference, and I get to ask my stupid ass questions to these wrestlers, to these wrestling figureheads, talking upper management and all that. It's more about them and getting themselves over, that we're at a point, you know, that the perception of the reality in which they present, it's skewed, isn't it? Right down to the point, you know, a lot of you guys are paying that 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, dollars for the Patreon and all that other shit. FOMO. You don't want to miss out on when you can get that same information for free from fill in the blank. So that's the point that we're at right now. Now, look, a lot of these, because we've heard enough of these press conferences, right? I just told you about a dumbass press conference from what was it? The Raw on Netflix press conference. Some of the dumbest ass questions that I ever heard in my entire life that was being asked. And these are people that are playing footsie, and right? Because they want to make sure that they keep being invited back. That's why. That's why. They're a mark for themselves, and they want to make sure that they keep getting invited back. So they're going to ask their softball questions. Again, nobody is saying that these people need to go in an Anderson Cooper, haha, I got you. Nobody's saying they got to go in that direction. Not at all. But there's a big difference, and what I need for you guys, if you aren't noticing it yet, start noticing it. Next time TNA, next time WWE, next time AEW does these press conferences, start paying attention to the names that's there. Start paying attention to the news media outlets that's being represented at these events, and link those to the questions that's being asked. You're going to go, oh, if you haven't done it before, you're going to start going, so-and-so from USA Today. That was a very good question they asked. Oh, so-and-so from Sports Illustrated. Hey, that was actually a pretty damn good question. Hey, blah 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 from marksandtights.com. What the fuck kind of question was that? Pay attention. Start paying attention. And you'll see that these people, they're marks for themselves at the end of the day. Now, some of you guys may say, well, Lee, as you always like to say, it takes two to tangle and everything. What can be done to combat these glorified wrestling fans that's covering the industry, showing up to these events and all that, asking their stupid ass questions and, being marks for themselves and all that? What can be done to combat these people that really are hurting the industry as a whole? Like what can be done? It's very simple. I need for the TNAs, I need for the WWEs. AEW, we can forget about it because Tony Khan is such a fan. He is a big fan of the business and the way in which he is doing AEW. It is all about that product being for the hardcore wrestling fan. He's going to continue to, and it's unfortunate, but he's going to continue to play to those wrestling marks with the websites and the podcast. He's going to continue to play up to them, whatever. But TNA, NWA, WWE, these guys, New Japan, these guys need to, okay, stop. They don't want to stop though, because they know that, hey, these guys, they've got the engagements, they've got the impressions, but man, once you know your worth, once you know your value, it's one of those ordeals where you go, well, honestly, we would just really be doing them a favor. We really don't need them. They need us more than we need them. So we're actually just fine. Could you just imagine if WWE were to do things in a way where they just go, no, 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 no. We're not going to be having the 401 manias, the fightfuls, the fill in the blanks. We're not going to be having these guys cover our events. We want the Sports Illustrated. We want and fill in the blanks. Not for nothing, but that's how it originally was back in the day. That's how it originally was back in the day. I can still remember a time. I've been at this since 2011. And I remember a time when WWE would not entertain the day or time for their talents to ever go on a podcast. So, we've come a long way. We have come a long, long, long way. But WWE particularly, and where they're at now, they don't need to continue to. Instead, you know what I would recommend that like all these wrestling promotions do? Because I know some of you guys are hearing that and it might break your hearts a little bit and all that. And sorry, not sorry. But invest in the Busted Open radio guys. Invest in, hey, they're on Sirius XM. A lot of people listen to Sirius XM. Just how still, and believe it or not, just how still in 2025 and beyond, there are still a lot of people that listen to FM radio. Thousands to millions still listen to FM radio. Believe it or not, go do your research. Play up to those. Play up to the wrestlers that's now crossed over into having shows. I'm looking at The Undertaker. I'm looking at Devon Dudley. I'm looking at Stevie Richards. I'm looking at, Jim Cornette, who's done phenomenal through the years. Like, these are the outlets that I think wrestling promotions really need to, especially those that, no, you know what? I think Eric Bischoff and them, they got it wrong about our promotion. And if we could be a guest on their show and have a really fun, insightful conversation, create some fun dialogue, but a lot of these promotions, they're kind of scared to go in that direction. It's kind of funny. I listened to a clip of Kevin Nash earlier today where he was talking about how Ari Emanuel, Vince McMahon, and Triple H Paul Levesque, they had went to see Dave Chappelle. And Vince McMahon was so fidgety and all that throughout the show. He's looking around and everything. And turns out once they all go backstage, they're meeting Dave Chappelle. Vince is saying to Dave, could I give you some production tips, some advice on how you can make your shows even better as you're recording them and all that? Right. And you're like, wow, like that's real. And I can't help but wonder if a lot of that was implemented, if Dave took that, fed it to his guys, and the rest is pretty much history and all that. I'm curious if whether some of these promotions would genuinely, what, would they rise to the occasion, or would they go, yeah, nah, we're good. But or at least if you're gonna go with an independent ma and pa show, ma and pa podcast and all that, at least go with somebody. Okay, you know what? From what we're able to see, because they can easily have a team find this out. Any controversies? Anything going on, on social media involving this show? Okay, so they're not a mark for themselves. They really, they're just a fan, and they do a really good job in covering it. Perfect example. Perfect example. My relationship with the great folks over at Wow Women of Wrestling. They've hit me up a couple of times off and on during the past year. Hey, what's going on with you? We really love your interview style. We want you to interview some more of the girls. And each time I sadly had to shoot them down. And at first it was just, well, hey, let us know when you're free, good luck with the college, da 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 da. And then I'd get hit up 3 months later after I've already told them when I'm going to be free to do interviews again and everything. And I get hit up again, and it's like, no, sorry, like my workload, it's too, you know, but that's a good example of, hey, here's this guy who's a really good, he's a good supporter of what we do, covers us really good, does really good interviews. Yo, we got to continue to work with this guy. As old as some of the interviews that I did with some of their talents are, they still have, because that's how good the work is, they still have some of my work up on their website. Right. So there is a way that things can be done in such a way where you're weeding out the marks for themselves, and you're focusing on, no, doing something with this folk, with these people, or doing something with this show. No, it's, this would actually be beneficial on so many levels. And of course, at the end of the day, look, I'm a metrics guy myself. I'm definitely a big metrics guy. I do care about numbers. I do. But I care more about quality than I do quantity. Because if the quality is banging like that, mofos are going to eventually find out about it, because you can tell who, okay, they've got the quality going on here, but it seems they're hurting as far as logistics, SEO rankings, and all that other stuff. If they can kind of figure that out, oh man, they're going to have even more eyeballs on their content and checking out this particular piece right here and all that. So that's what's kind of going on here with where we are in this respected industry. Do I see it changing anytime soon for the better, or is it going to continue to get worse? I think it's going to continue to get worse, sadly, because what I'm noticing is the trend right now. Individuals such as myself, for example, that mean well, and we're in the process of actually going to college, majoring in journalism and all that. We're looking to make the transition into either working for a newspaper or working for a TV news station. And we know deep down inside in making that transition, we're sadly not going to be in a position where, going to be able to cover wrestling. Like, no, we're most likely, politics or, whatever our particular niche is that a lot of Americans or whatever your respected country, that's what we're going to be playing up to. So very seldom will you find an individual who, okay, I got my journalism, like a Chris Van Vliet. That's a really good example. Chris Van Vliet, who started off pretty much, working his way through the ranks, getting his education, news and all of that. That's a really good example of somebody that, okay, even after all that great education that they got and everything, wow, the transition they were able to make into, okay, I want to deal with talking with wrestlers and on a regular basis. And you see the production level that he puts into his stuff and everything. Very admirable. Like, you would think that most people would strive to, okay, well, if you're going to do it right, that's definitely in regards to Chris Van Vliet, uh, that is the way you want to do it. That is the way you want to do it. I got a lot of respect for him and how he's doing it, but that I don't think that with this current generation or the generations after, I don't think they're going to be. No, I think the way things are right now, it's pretty much going to be business as usual. You're going to get the same mediocre bullshit. It's quite sad. I got Muhammad saying to me that I'm mispronouncing it. Uh, Basically, that it's Chris Van Vliet is how you pronounce it. The important thing is, fam, you all know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. That's the only thing that matters. By the way, I'm aware of the interview that he did with the man formerly known as Baron Corbin. I have not listened to it yet. I'll comment more on his interview with Corbin on next week's show. But the main thing that I want for you guys to focus on, like the hell with the name pronunciation. We can all be in agreement that the most important thing is with the way things are with this current industry and how it's being covered. It's going to continue to be covered by marks, particularly marks that have their own agenda, which is getting themselves over. And, as far as the promotion, kind of secondary. That's going to continue to be the norm. So that's where we are right now with all of that stuff going on. Take it for what it's worth. Elsewhere, I don't want to do a long-winded deluxe episode either. I see we're at about the 1 hour, 39-minute mark. I tell you what, if we can take this up to 2 hours or wrap it up less than that, I'm down with that. AEW, it looks like they've announced several dates for spring 2025. Looks like they got some pretty interesting things that's going to be going on. Check this out. Oh, what's this? Nah, I'm good. Thank you. So check this out. We've got coming up on Saturday, March 1st, AEW Collision. That's going to be in the Oakland, California area at the Oakland Arena. Saturday, March 15th, there's going to be an edition of AEW Collision. That's going to be in Las Vegas at the Theater Virgin Hotels. That's going to be followed up by Wednesday, March 19th, AEW Dynamite and a special taping of Collision, Liberty First Credit Union Arena, Omaha, Nebraska. Wednesday, March 26th, AEW Dynamite, Roy Wilkins Auditorium in St. Paul, Minnesota. Saturday, March 29th, AEW Collision, UW Milwaukee Panther Arena in Milwaukee. Wednesday, April 20th, correction. Wednesday, April 2nd, AEW Dynamite and a special taping of AEW Collision, Civic Center, Illinois. 2 more dates for you. Sunday, April 6th, AEW Dynasty is going to be out in Philadelphia. And April 9th, Dynamite, Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena out in Baltimore. Baltimore, huh? No, I might be interested in checking that out. It's going to be some additional live events announced in the near future. General on sale tickets for Dynasty in Philadelphia. That's going to go on sale Monday, February 3rd, 10 a.m. Eastern, over on AEWTix.com, also on Ticketmaster. So, FYI, as we get a little bit closer to some of those dates, I'll definitely give you guys some reminders as well. By the way, all the stuff that is going on with that AEW Grand Slam thing, first of all, I am still trying to figure out, like, if you guys have not been keeping track on everything that's been happening with AEW Grand Slam, just in a nutshell, to recap, the original arena they were supposed to be at, that could hold like about 50,000. So, okay, well, maybe we can prepare for 25, 30,000. Tickets were underperforming so bad that AEW had to change venue for Grand Slam Australia. Okay, so bad blow, but okay, keep on trucking, baby. Then you find out, I think it was as recent as last week's, not this past Wednesday, but last week's Dynamite. And I remember this vividly because the commentators did not even mention the start time and all that for Grand Slam. Just quietly, this graphic popped up, little lower third graphic popped up. And you're like, oh, cool. That's when Grand Slam's going down. Oh, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hey, nice. Cool. Turns out not the case at all, as in a new update, Grand Slam is not going to be coming on until the NBA All-Star break games or whatever. Basically, it's not going to be coming on until whatever game is playing on TNT wraps up. So this Grand Slam Australia event is not going to be coming on until about maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Because I know the NBA guys, they usually do an hour post show when it comes to this stuff. So you're hearing that and you're going, wait, how is this not communicated to AEW from Warner Brothers Discovery? How was AEW led to the impression that they were going to be able to come on Saturday, February 15th? How were they led to the impression that they were going to be able to come on at 8 p.m. Eastern when you have a conflict, right? You've already got something scheduled in there. So that's not going to fly. Saturday night going into Sunday morning. Yeesh. I don't know how many people are going to be up. Obviously, the hardcore wrestling fan at that. You would hope that that NBA audience is going to stick around and they're going to check themselves out some wrestling afterwards. But that just Warner Brothers Discovery, that's just a facepalm right there. Now, on a good note, depending on how you want to look at this, this will be the final quarter/season that AEW is going to deal with any type of basketball preempt. Because, in case you guys don't know, inside the NBA on TNT, next season, so next fall, it's going to have a new home. It's going to be part of the ESPN family. And the way all that is pretty much being worked out in a nutshell. Matter of fact, there was some news that had trickled on down earlier today that Shaquille O'Neal had signed a new multi-year contract with TNT. So what exactly that entails, that's beyond me. Does that somehow tie into his deal with remaining on Inside, even though it's going to be outsourced to ESPN? It's interesting. I can't wait to see how all that's going to play out, because apparently the TNT crew out in Atlanta, they're going to continue to produce the shows. It's just not going to be on the consistent basis that we've come to know and appreciate over the years, because we've seen it. At first it was just Tuesdays, then it became Thursdays. Thursdays was the staple, the Stapleton. Now we're getting it on TNT Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the way I'm understanding it, Inside is only going to be coming on next season during particular events. Kenny the Jet Smith, he's inked a new deal. It's being described as a multi-year deal. And the way he had the language set up in his respective contract, he could have easily just, nope, I'm done. Charles Barkley, he's still exploring options. Ernie's a TNT faithful. He's staying right where he is, but he's still, till we hear otherwise, him and Charles are still going to be somehow incorporated with the new Inside once it moves to ESPN. So I bring all of this up and linking it back to AEW. Once we're done with this current basketball season, AEW, as far as being preempted, it's going to be very rare. Now, unless a situation occurs where in NBA's place on TNT, Warner Brothers Discovery decides, well, let's put more baseball in there, or maybe let's try to put more hockey games in there. Even at that, I think it'll be very, very rare that AEW will be preempted. So, but yeah, this stuff with Australia, the Grand Slam thing, you just see that, like, how does one hand miss such critical information to give to, unless AEW just assumed without confirming? Your guess is as good as mine. As far as the updated card goes for Grand Slam Australia, here's what we're looking at right now. We got the AEW Women's World Championship match between Mariah May and Toni Storm. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, they'll be teaming up to take on Takesha and Cal Fletcher. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much all we got for right now. I know you probably was licking your lips going, yeah, that's all we got right now. It's still a little ways away, and that's going to be on Saturday, February 15th. I can tell you this right now. My weekend, tell you what I'm doing that weekend. I'm going to go see the new Captain America movie. I've never been so excited before in my life. And I got to tell you, wifey, she is very excited. She is very excited. One, she definitely loves Anthony Mackie. She loves the whole Succession storyline there with dude becoming the new Captain America and all that. She loved the first couple of episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So she's very excited. And she loves Harrison Ford. So she's very excited to see this movie. As a matter of fact, so much so, I remember there was a commercial that had played several nights ago. And she goes, I thought you said this movie was coming out in the summer. I'm like, yeah, that's what I heard. She's like, no, come look at this. It's like, it's happening Valentine's Day. I'm like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, it's happening Valentine's Day. Look. I'm like, I'm looking at the commercial and I'm going, oh shit. I'm like, it's Valentine's Day. I'm like, Hey, honey, nothing says I love you more than taking you to go see Captain America, Brave New World. And she started busting up laughing. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to picking up some of those unique popcorn buckets of theirs. Have you guys seen the designs for those? I'll share some images with you guys on the next show. But they got a really cool kick-ass Red Hawk popcorn bucket. I'm messing around with some of my props I got on this desk here. And so for the Red Hawk one, right? This is a Venom popcorn bucket, by the way. Okay. The Red Hawk one, it's much wider and deeper. And it looks like the way that you do it, the popcorn is going to be, you can put it in his back somehow from what I had saw. But they're going to have that be available. They're also going to have a shield popcorn version. So basically, it's like you get the popcorn bucket, and then there's this big old shield that I guess you can put as a lid over the open part of the bucket. Pretty badass. I'm gonna try to see if I can pick up both of those. I got a buddy who loves collecting that type of stuff, but he's a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I actually might see if he can do me a solid and see if he can try to keep his eyes out as well and help a brother out. I think he'll do it. I'm pretty sure he'll do it, especially if I throw a couple of dollars his way. I'm pretty sure he'll definitely hook me up. So we got that going down. I saw these comments by Bully Ray a couple of days ago, and I just was a little, I wasn't even irritated, but I was just taken back that he couldn't quite make the connection here. But Bully Ray, he ended up speculating on why he felt CM Punk mentioned Hulk Hogan this week on Monday Night Raw. And here's what he had to say. I thought these comments were rather interesting. Of course, Hulk Hogan being verbally buried on the microphone there by CM Punk this week. I'll throw his dusty ass over the top rope and I'll kill Hulkamania once and for all. I know Bronson Reed had put out a post saying to CM Punk, no, Punk, Hogan is mine. All right. Because he's got a tsunami or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 waiting for his ass and everything. So Bully Ray speculated on Busted Open a few days ago saying, quote unquote, Punk talked about Hogan. Why talk about Hogan and throwing his old ass over the top rope if you weren't going to do that? Because I think lots of people would love to see CM Punk eliminate Hulk Hogan from the Royal Rumble. That would be a massive deal. Hogan would get a massive pop in the Rumble. I mean, I don't know if he can do it physically. And I'm just like, man, why even bring that up? I really can't believe Bully is not really seeing it, but then at the same time, with all the respected connections that Bully Ray still has in WWE, I'm very surprised he did not reach out to his WWE sources and get the skinny on the Hulkster, because had he done his proper research, hell, even if it's a case where you really don't have the free time, I don't know, maybe make your rounds and listen to the Kevin Nashes, the Jim Cornettes. You'd find out some, or Bischoff even, you would find out some very important information on the Hulkster. Those that's under the impression, oh, Hulkster is, and I'm not implying Bully Ray is going in this direction, but those that's under the impression, oh, well, Hulkster's going to appear at the Rumble. He's going to be doing something. That's why he got mentions, because he's going to be doing something. I hate to burst that bubble. For those that actually are hoping to see that, that ain't going to be happening, because Hogan is in rough shape. It's really, really bad. I know Jim Cornette talked about it but a couple of weeks ago, but Kevin Nash was more recent. And this really went under the radars that I'm surprised a lot of wrestling sites did not pick up on. Hogan's back is totally fucked up. It is a struggle for him to get around. As Kevin Nash had put it, um, he's a tough son of a bitch, and he somehow powers through. But Hulkster is struggling big time, right down to the point. I remember there was a listener that basically validated what Nash said, in saying, because he was there like in attendance, this fan, and he had a pretty good front row seat and everything. And Hogan had to rely on the shoulders and arm of a fan to pretty much help get himself backstage and all that. There's a reason why when we saw Hogan at that Raw premiere, why he was just right there at the stage area, why he was not in the ring, right? So that guy, he's a lot of look, say what you will about the Hulkster and all that other stuff, but it's kind of sad that as far as his quality of life goes, hopefully he's getting ready to have some surgery real soon. But you just think about all that, your knee problems, your hip issues, your back issues, all of that is mainly the result of that damn leg drop. That goddamn leg drop. And I know he used to say in the past, if he could have changed anything about his wrestling career, the finisher, like he would have ditched the leg drop. I think he said, if I'm not mistaken, I think he said he wished he could have maybe adopted the bear hug, like somehow make that be a finisher or whatever. But definitely a standing on his feet, like vertical position finisher, that would be his whole thing. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But doing a leg drop all those years, all that weight, I think at his peak, he weighed like 330 to 340. And he was probably maybe 6, because I know he's definitely much shorter now. I think he was probably at 1.68, 6'7", 6'8", maybe even 6'9". So yeah, that's speedy recovery to him. Now, on a lighter note, Stone Cold Steve Austin had shared on a social media post that he had got some surgery done on, I don't know if it's one knee or two knees, but he definitely got some surgery done on the knee. Right now, he's just doing cardio stuff. He can't lift weights just yet. He talked about how he tried pushing himself and it went a little bit, it didn't go his way. So he kind of aggravated the surgery there on his knee a little bit, but he is recovering quite well. Hopefully, once he's healed up, him and Triple H, Paul Levesque, they can maybe have a conversation, because I miss seeing Stone Cold. I miss seeing him. You know what? At this point, even if it's a case where we can get Stone Cold just sitting down, being part of some type of a documentary or whatnot, I would love to see that. Just give me something. Give me something with Stone Cold in 2025, and I'm happy. Speaking of Stone Cold, want to go back to a poll that involved you guys. We put the poll up, I want to say it was as soon as the Monday night show was over. By the way, appreciate you guys big time that have been showing some of the clips that I've been sharing from some of the shows. You've been showing the clips love. I appreciate that. Just make sure that when you go in and you're checking out the clips, make sure you're hitting the like button. Okay. Even if it's a case where you heard the whole episodes, but you see that there's a clip from that show, if you got a couple of minutes to spare, just hit play, hit the like, go disappear real quick, and let that clip play out and everything. It's good as far as the watch time and retention and all of that good stuff. But I put a poll out there following up on the Hulk Hogan beer stuff. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you really need to go back to Monday's show, because I put a post out and I said, so this poll follows up on my idea of a Hulk Hogan Real American Beer makeover from Monday's show. The clip for that is now available on here, basically on the YouTube channel in the clip playlist. If a makeover was done, would that entice you to go out of your way to buy and drink it? Sound off after listening to the clip for full context. So here's where we stand right now. I'm going to follow up on this on next Monday's show. So it'll buy you guys even more time to, right? But once we go live on Monday, like that's it. That's it. But here's how it's looking right now. 13% of you said, yeah, I like the ideas you brought up. I'd buy it. 20% of you all, meanwhile, said, nah, Hulk Hogan or not, I'm not buying WWE's beer for nothing. 27% of you said, nah, no other WWE stars needed. WWE should stick with Hogan. Coming in at top dog right now, 40% of the votes. Why not just go with Stone Cold Steve Austin and ditch Hogan? I got to tell you, when I was sharing these results, these early results with the wife, it was much different, but the vast majority was on the last one there. Like, just go with Stone Cold, ditch Hogan. My wife goes, man, when we were talking about doing a whole makeover and everything, that was the very first thing that you said was, why not just go with Steve Austin? I said, yeah, I said it's, and when I told her the results, she was like, if anything surprised her, she was surprised at the fact that more people were not interested in that whole, yeah, use different WWE superstars. If anything, she was more surprised at the fact that so many people, Hogan or not, they're not interested in the beer. Because at the time, there was like more, it wasn't, I think it was the second favorite option besides the Stone Cold. So that really kind of took her in there for a woozy. Me, I was more stunned at the fact that more people were going, I'm not buying the beer, as opposed to the ideas that I had brought up. Because I thought from a marketing standpoint, I brought up some really good ideas. But then, oh, I got to show love to just some of the comments that's come in for that clip so far. Oh my God, that clip was so just seeing the comments for the clip. I'm like, y'all wilding out. I'm like, y'all wilding out. But anyway, oh my God. Shout out to Nathan. Nathan said, oof, Cody would struggle to sell beer to an alcoholic. And I'm thinking to myself, you might be on to something there. And I remember showing that comment to the wife. She goes, well, I don't get it. Like, why wouldn't Cody? I said, well, he does have that lisp. So she's like, and I'm like, well, you picture somebody with a lisp that's trying to sell alcohol, like, kind of be a little bit of a struggle. Yeah, you got to admit, because some people would probably go, I think you've already had a couple there. Like, we're good, Cody. We're good. And then shout out to, what is that? Steffo. I'm having a hard time looking at that one. I need my glasses, but I'm just going to shorten it to Steffo. Steffo said, nobody wants another shitty beer. I love you guys. I love you guys. That is just, please keep the comments and all that going. But yeah, I love the fact that I'm getting back into the whole clip thing. Again, I was greatly encouraged by a few friends, definitely the missus. But I was mainly encouraged by friends and some of my colleagues, they were like, dude, like you need to get back into your clips, like upload more clips. Like, why'd you stop? You know, and I told him, I said, I really didn't have the free time. Because if you guys remember, at one point, we did hire somebody to upload clips. And I told them straight, I don't mind sharing the story now. I don't mind sharing the story now. But basically, I said, the person I had hired at the time, I said, look, I want you to come in. I want you to upload maybe 2 clips at most each week. And I did all the dirty work. And by that, not to bore you guys with the tech talk, but from an audio standpoint, it was, hey, look, here's the clip. I'm sending you the clip. Or, here's the audio, but here's the timestamp of what you need to clip. And whatever you want to do visually, like have fun with it. But here's a default template for you to play with. And that person ended up creating a whole original template. It was like, okay, cool. Like that's fine. That's fine. And we came to an agreement as far as the price goes and everything. And where I was turned off from them rather quickly. I think they only made it maybe about a month, maybe even a month and a half. I can't remember now because it was so long ago, but I remember they were always late in getting to my clips, right? Like right down to the point. I remember one of the clips for a show, I said to them, hey, yo, this is a time sensitive thing because this is a hot button topic that a lot of people are talking about. I want to catch in on the momentum here and ride this little trend. Can you get this out as soon as possible? Oh yeah, I'll try to get it up in about 2 days, maybe 3 days. And I'm like, dude, I'm paying you. And they were like, yeah, I didn't mention, hey, I'm paying you. Like, what the hell? But for them, what was always the priority was the clips that they were doing for the other show. So it was pretty obvious to me that the workload, it was becoming too much for them, because then they had the audacity to go, hey, can we talk about a raise? And it's like, so in my thought process, I'm going, so wait a minute. You're late uploading the clips when you tell me you're going to upload them, but you don't upload them when you're supposed to. I have virtually done all the work for you. So the only thing you need to do is just take the audio in question, clip it, add an image to it, mix it down, make it an MP4, boom. While you're rendering it, it's automatically being uploaded to the YouTube channel, which you have access to. Like, I've made your work very easy. 2 clips a week. And now we're talking about a raise. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. And then we had another person that was supposed to end up working on the channel. And I had told them, yo, we can actually get you a official 1099 form and all that. You'll be able to write this down, resume, put it on your resume and all that, because this is work experience and everything for you. And this was right around the time when my Pekingese Maggie had passed away. So that it was like, oof, it was like, and it not for nothing, but even afterwards, they kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. So I'm now in a position where, now that my class workload is getting less and less, I can focus on the YouTube channel more and more. So my whole point, stay connected to the YouTube channel, because more clips are being uploaded on a regular basis from the shows. So I'm happy, very happy. I'm getting back. I got to do it anyway, because especially as far as the industry I'm trying to work in, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be working a lot with different video editing softwares. I'm hoping primarily Adobe Premiere and all that other good stuff. Let's see. Anything else I want to get into before we get ready to wrap up here? Let's see. So we talked about Grand Slam. I'm aware of the rumors that's floating around about Nikki Bella, her possibly coming back to the WWE. I know she has been very vocal about, and look, if you're gonna do something, I know some people, oh, she'd be great in AEW. She'd be, yeah, she would, but she would be the flavor of the month, like always. That's how it always goes in AEW. And then that's it. So it makes more sense for her if she is going to come back into wrestling. Literally, just pick up where you left off. Just go back to the WWE. When we get into match predictions for the Royal Rumble, I'll sound off more about the idea of Nikki Bella and all that. While we're talking about women, WWE, also am aware of the reports floating around about Alexa Bliss. For those of you that's not aware, allegedly, Alexa Bliss was pretty close to returning to the WWE, but her and WWE allegedly they couldn't quite work out creative plans. So looked as though maybe she was going to be returning, if not at the Royal Rumble, maybe shortly after that. Some stuff was put out there about, maybe her being involved with the Wyatt Six. I don't know, maybe to kind of properly put a bookend on what was going on with her particular character from last we had saw her. And I mean, honestly, when you really stop and think about it, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to the Triple H Paul Levesque team, as far as, let's revisit Alexa Bliss here. Me personally, I would love to see her come back, be incorporated with the Wyatt Six and somehow just wrap that up and then let her go back to being vintage Alexa Bliss or whatnot. But in the new update, Mike Johnson said the issue between the two sides stems from Bliss seeking a new contract prior to her WWE return, while WWE wanted her to return under the terms of her existing deal. So that's currently what Johnson is hearing. Look, so that sounds pretty minor, does it not? Like, if this is true, that sounds pretty minor. Safe to say they're going to be able to hammer things out. Like, if you want to pick my brain honestly and be like, Lee, do you see Alexa Bliss going elsewhere? Do you see WWE and Bliss not able to come to terms on a new deal and she just goes elsewhere? No, not at all. I don't see that happening at all. I see the two sides working things out. Just, it'll be confident am I? How confident am I in Bliss returning to the WWE? I'm not only confident, but it's a matter of when she comes back. I feel at this point, Bliss will be back the night after WrestleMania. That's how confident I'm feeling right now. That's when we still got to do predictions for 2025, by the way. Let's do that. Next Monday show, we'll get into wrestling predictions for 2025, and we'll reveal the full list for the Sanders Wrestling Awards, because we still got to do that as well. I've just been so tied up with other stuff, but we're definitely going to get into that. By the way, Saraya, she is now single. Remember the guy that she was dating was in a rock band? They were together for like 6 years. Seemed to be a nice little cute couple and everything. I think it was TMZ that first revealed it. And Saraya pretty much, not really putting anything out there officially on social media, but just looking at some of her posts kind of seems to definitely suggest that, yeah, she has broken up So for you guys out there thinking you have a chance, well, take your shot, see what happens. Worst thing that can go down is she says no. We know she's an equal opportunities provider. I don't know why she lost all that weight. By the way, I didn't mind thick Soraya. She looked pretty good thick. When you look at the new pictures, you'll see what I'm talking about. She's gotten much smaller. Frankie Kazarian signed a new deal with TNA Wrestling. I'm still looking into the stuff that's going on with PCO and the TNA Digital Championship that he destroyed at a GCW event, I believe it was. Word is that for TNA management, they were taken off guard by PCO's antics there. That wasn't the actual championship, as it was a replica. TNA actually has the original digital championship, but they were what's described to be very stunned and upset, obviously, at PCO's handling, as they feel that when you get down to the core of PCO's issue, it's the fact that he wasn't able to get a re-up with TNA. So I don't know how much of that is true and how much of that is just we're just going with that's what's going to make tonight's Impact Wrestling or TNA Impact definitely you want to watch, because you want to see how are they going to be addressing this, if they're going to be addressing it at all. So meanwhile, Netflix's CEO Ted Sardano says that WWE is off to a great start on the streaming service, saying, quote unquote, WWE is off to a great start. Our first week, we drew about 5 million viewers, which is about 2 times the audience that Monday Night Raw was getting on linear television. Pretty consistent with how we modeled it, how we'd hope to build the audience for the league. We also saw that the non-live viewing, so in the day after the live event, our viewing average grew by 25%, mostly outside of the US time zone. So this is a new viewing in the UK, Canada, Mexico, Australia, Brazil, particularly big markets. So we're really thrilled to see how that's going so far. And he goes on to say, in the US, our viewing of Monday Night Raw was as big as the Monday Night Raw viewing has been in 5 years. So we're super thrilled about how that's going and how that's coming out. Again, just not being overly repetitive, but we are not, hang on, we are not, clean this up. We're going to be mindful of the bottom line, and it's really important that those economics do work, and that the big league sports, full season economics are very hard to make work. And so for us, we want to be able to bring value to the sport like we have to date with WWE, certainly, but I'm gonna stop. Well, they did not clean they got this guy sounding like a goddamn drunk ass mofo. That's not good. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's some information out about the second week's airing of WWE Raw on Netflix, where there is a great decline in the viewership there. Like when you match up week one's numbers to week two, I think there is a decline by about 45%. If I'm not mistaken, I'm like 90% confident I remember reading that right. What did I tell you guys when we did that whole special episode? What was that, like 2 weeks ago, on the Raw numbers and the future of Raw being on Netflix, and whether or not Netflix is going to pick up that option or are they going to dip out? Remember what I said to you guys, and just to reiterate it again, my number one thing that I said from a couple of weeks ago, the consistency in maintaining. Can WWE maintain, and can they just continue to at least slowly add on or keep it steady? And I remember saying to you guys, look at what happened with that very first SmackDown on Fox, and then the decline afterwards until we got to just that regular baseline, right? And then I also said to you guys, I'd be curious to see. I don't mind repeating this because it's definitely something you all should have in the back of you all's head as well. I'm going to be very curious to see this first whole calendar year. So taking this whole calendar year up until January 6, 2026. Okay. First Raw for 2026. That'll be a whole calendar year. I'd like to take that whole calendar year for Raw on Netflix and match it up to the whole year of Raw on the USA Network, just to see, okay, where are we? Is it about the same? Is it less? Is it more? Right? But that's always been WWE's problem, from what I've been able to see, as long as we've been talking about ratings and all that. It's always been about maintaining. AEW has been having that same issue as well. Now, to AEW's credit, they've been having some pretty good weeks where they've been able to add on to their viewership and all that. I tried watching Dynamite, by the way, this week. I found myself doing so much fast forwarding. I was kind of bored out of my mind. I got to be honest with you guys. Now, it did put a smile on my face seeing the Hurt Syndicate picking up the tag team titles off of Private Party. Hey, that's great. That's a great move on Tony Khan, AEW's part. Go with the steady hand right now. Go with, even if it's warm, just go in that direction, because Lord knows they did Private Party wrong. They did those guys ice cold, as far as I'm concerned. But Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, they're the new AEW tag team champions. Her Syndicate, that's fine. Right way to go. I'm down with that. Dynamite in the ratings this week looks like it did about 655,000 viewers. That's according to the good folks over there at WrestleNomics. That's up 5.6% and down 3.5% from the previous week, which saw a 0.18 demo rating and an audience of 679,000 viewers. So that's great. We're all, as fans, at a point right now, we want for this whole Death Riders thing to stop already, because it's just that's all I'm gonna say in regards to that, because I don't want to be beating the horse to death yet again here. But that's what's going on that. Also, there's a report floating around that WWE has had on again, off again talks over the years about bringing back the Evolve promotion. The news was mentioned within the context of the new WWE ID program. PW Insider is noting that the idea is still in play, but that nothing is left in stone. So that's what's going on with that. By the way, there is a new reality-based WWE show that is in the works. I think now it's in post-production. And let me see if I can pull this up for you guys real quick. Legends and Future Greats. I thought it was called Let's Fucking Go, but yeah, it's a reality series that's going to be premiering on A&E sometime within the first 2 quarters of 2025. Show's going to feature in-ring matches and behind-the-scenes footage of the training process. And there's going to be competitors that's going to be mentored by Triple H, Paul Levesque, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Mickey James, Booker T. and the show will provide a raw 360-degree view of what it takes to make it in the WWE. Apparently, Ric Flair has filmed some stuff as he's supposed to be involved in this. So that's definitely something that I find myself, I'll most likely check it out. Now, see, here's the thing. I have YouTube TV as my provider, my television provider. So normally the way I would have to watch A&E, I usually watch it through, oh my God, what is that app? That's going to bother me now. What is that app? Is it Pluto? I think it's Pluto TV that I usually, it's not Sling. It's not Sling. I want to say it's Pluto because I'm still being billed to this day for it. But that's usually how I'm able to watch A&E because I like watching the episodes of Legends, Biography, Most Wanted, Treasure, and all that. So I'll definitely be watching that series. Speaking of series, there's a new John Cena show. I think it's only 4, maybe 5 episodes. I believe it is. I think it's a Hulu show. Let me check real quick. John Cena. Give me a second here. I'll be able to tell you. John Cena new show. What drives you? Yeah, I wasn't sure. What drives you? And this is available on. Hang on here. Roku. I knew it was one of those. Yeah, it's available on Roku. So the synopsis for this one, John Cena is known for his award-winning performances in the ring and on the big screen. But now this global icon is ready to give audiences a front row seat to his 2 biggest passions, cars and connecting with people. What Drives You is a breakthrough talk format where John will spend time with the most successful celebrities on the planet and talk about what drives them, both on the road and in their hearts. So he's got one episode with Logan Paul. That's the premiere. Second episode with Jelly Roll. Then there's one with Travis Barker. And then he does something with The Miz. So those are all the episodes. And the one with The Miz, that came out 2 days ago. Now, I don't know if that's the season finale or whatnot. But this series is out right now. So you guys, by the looks of it, you can play the first 4 episodes right now. So, and as far as future guests goes, I'm not seeing anything about, I think this is just a case where maybe it's like on a week to week basis. I would encourage you guys, if you kind of do like me when it comes to certain TV shows, I usually like to type in the name of the show and put Wikipedia at the end of it. And then I can usually see a couple of weeks ahead, if the information has been made available, how many more episodes are coming down the pipeline, and all that good stuff. But so basically, if you guys ever watched, and I might be outdating myself a little bit, but it was still quite a popular series. If you all ever watched Jay Leno's Garage, it's pretty much, by the sound of it, that's what we're pretty much going to be getting with Cena. Only we're going to be getting obviously a much younger person. And by the way, I don't hear enough people talk about this, but congrats to John Cena for the latest round of McDonald's commercials. It's interesting. I listen to some of my friends and colleagues in the podcasting world, and even some of these wrestling news sites, like the most simplistic thing that's missed, I've seen nobody comment on John Cena doing the McDonald's commercials. And it's like, wow, that's good for him. Like, seriously, that's good for him. So far, he has done, that I'm aware of, 3 McDonald's commercials. There's one where it ends with him basically doing the "you can't see me" gesture, and he disappears. And then you see a very, very faint, transparent John Cena somewhere in the sky. It's his face, his whole face is in the sky, and he's eating a nugget, and he's just it's a hilarious commercial. You guys gotta look it up. Just type it in YouTube, just John Cena McDonald's, and you should be able to come across it that way. Let's see. Other than that, NXT, they got 800,000 viewers. So viewership is up yet again. No, nothing happened with Dwayne The Rock Johnson this time. Programming Insider is reporting that the Tuesday episode of NXT looks like it's up in both viewership and in the 18 to 49 demo. So the episode drew 812,000, up from the previous week, which was 779,000. Meanwhile, it had in the 0.22 demo higher than last week's, which was 0.14. Eddie Throne, Trope, as I like to call him, he was unsuccessful in yanking away the NXT Heavyweight Championship from Obafemi. Obafemi, still the man that runs NXT. Although Trick Williams at the very end did get in his face, letting him know he is ready for a rematch. So to be continued on that one. By the way, seeing Trick Williams bitch slap the hell out of Wesley, and then to see it followed up on social media shortly after with the new Redman track that's out right now, slap the shit out of you, whatever the hell that. I got to review that album, by the way. I love me some Redman. I love me some Method Man. I think I reviewed Method Man's one of his last albums, and I gave that an unfavorable review, but I'm looking forward to. There's a whole bunch of really good motherfuckers coming back strong in 2025. I think Q-Tip is definitely somewhere on that list. Ghostface Killer, I think, is supposed to be doing something this year as well. Most Def, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to be doing something. A lot of old school favorites putting out some new shit this year. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's see. Other than that, yeah, that is pretty much it. Let me just make my last round just to make sure everything on the up and up is good before we get ready to call it here. Let me look at TNA real quick. I'm just looking at some of the results for TNA now that pretty much the first hour and a half is in the books. I don't see anything news breaking, by the way, but let me poke my head in the live Impact coverage real quick and see if there's something kind of noteworthy that should be brought to you all's attention. By the way, it looks like Penta is going to be doing a meet and greet coming up very soon. This is through WWE, of course. I'm just looking here. Nothing noteworthy so far. Remember, on this week's Impact, which is supposed to be live, Masha Slamovich and Spitfire take on Rosemary and Ash and Heather by Elegance. JDC and Moose versus the Hardys. Oh, Sammy Callahan's back. Cool. Fraxium, it looks like they're taking on the Rascals for the NXT tag team titles. I do see the results of that. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Tessa Blanchard's in the house as well. Santana, I see him coming out talking about the match that he had at the Genesis pay-per-view against Josh Alexander. Fallout from that. By the way, speaking of TNA, let me show them some love real quick. For those of you that maybe are ready for some new 8x10s hanging in your man cave, TNA Wrestling has just announced that now for pre-order, you can get some autographed 8x10s of the Knockout. So that includes Tasha Steelz, Alicia Edwards, who else? Tessa Blanchard, Masha Slamovich, I'm missing 1 to 2 other girls, but if you go on TNA's website, you can't beat the prices. Prices are pretty good. I mean, we're talking, if I remember right, I believe, and hopefully I'm not getting this mixed up with something that I saw on eBay, not associated with the TNA wrestling account, but I believe the TNA site for the 8x10 knockouts, they want, I think it might have been like up to $50, maybe less than that. That's still pretty good. That's still pretty good to my whole point. So FYI, check that out. All right. Oh, one last thing. Let's look at the card here for Saturday night's main event and get into some predictions here. Let's pull this up here. WWE. We'll do Saturday night main event card. All right, and then we'll wrap up on that note. All right, so let's see what we got here. So we got 5 matches. We got the Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens contract signing that's going to be moderated by HBK Shawn Michaels. Looking forward to that. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus in a singles match. Just to make things interesting. Well, you know what, man? See, I was so quick to want to go with Sheamus, but I kind of feel as though main man Ludwig Kaiser, who has been engulfed in a very heated, bitter feud there with Sheamus over these past several months, promising to end Sheamus. I don't know. I got a feeling his presence might be felt in this one. I think this might end in a no contest, basically, because of Kaiser's interference. If there's no interference, then I'm going to say Sheamus. But I have a feeling Kaiser's going to interfere. Braun Strowman taking on Jacob Fatu. Oh, forget about it. Oh, wait. Let me go back. Braun Breaker and Sheamus, that's for the Intercontinental Championship. So, yeah, even if Ludwig Kaiser interferes, championship isn't going to change hands, right? It's, disqualification, interference, right? So you got to keep that in mind too. But if there's no interference and all that, Breaker retains. Let's see here. We've got Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu. I'm going with Fatu. Come on, man. Here going forward, like I'm not betting against Fatu. Forget about it. I like the role that this man is on right now. Really coming into his own about damn time, honestly. Yeah, you're doing it right. Should be a damn good match. I think this might be the dark horse match of the night. We'll see. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. That should be like, as far as all the matches goes on this card, that should be the second solid match of the night, one of the best matches of the night. But Rhea retains. Main event, World Heavyweight Championship, Jey Uso facing Gunther. That should be hellacious good. Hellacious good. Can't help but wonder if Drew McIntyre, because we have seen him dip his head in so many things within recent weeks. I can't help but wonder if he's going to make his presence felt here. Because remember, he still has everybody that was part of the whole bloodline that was a thorn in his side for so many years. He still has that hit list on them. So I can't help but wonder if McIntyre may get involved here. But regardless, Gunther retains the World Heavyweight Championship. So pretty cut and dry. So I hope we get a surprise or two on this one. It would be very interesting to see if the Hulkster is brought out. And if so, how that is going to be approached. I know this week the Hulkster was on Fox News. He struggled to rip the shirt off, the sleeves, and everything. But anyway, he was at the right crowd, though. He definitely was at the right event, had the right crowd with him and all of that. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Hulkster is going to be there live in person. And if so, how he's going to be utilized, what type of reaction he's going to get. Because this is a San Antonio, Texas crowd that WWE is going to be in front of this week. So got to keep that in mind. Or are they going to try to do something with the Hulkster that's pre-taped? Or are they just going to ditch the Hulkster period and go, that's what we got to be thinking about. And also this Real American Beer. Is WWE ready to start? Are we going to see the premiere of a new commercial promoting the beer? Or are they maybe going to have a new spokesperson come out to promote the beer? So all of these things associated with the Hulkster is going to be very, very interesting when we get ready to watch Saturday night's main event. I will put a poll up asking you guys if you would like a Saturday night show, post show, or if you guys are down with maybe. Well, I know the wifey. Oh, yeah. I almost forgot. Not my wedding anniversary, but my anniversary. Hey, we first met. I've got that this Sunday. I know wife wants to do something cool. So, yeah, I'm going to put a poll up and see what you guys, because honestly, I think the way I'll do the poll, either we do a post show Saturday night, or we can just wait until Monday and talk about Saturday night's main event. Do it that way. And we could probably talk about quickly the Saturday night main event before going into the talk of Monday Night Raw and all that good stuff. We could probably do it that way. I want to take this time out and I want to thank our show sponsors, because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. So make sure you guys represent and check them out, because we love these guys. We love them all. And that's sincere. That's real talk. Shout out to the good folks at porcelainpack.com. Listen to this. This is really, really cool. When I first heard these guys and hooked up with them, I'm like, this is badass. Like, who would not get behind this? So, like, remember back in the day when going to the bathroom for that secret escape, right? It's your private sanctuary and all that. Remember how cool it was when you would retreat to the bathroom, because either you would be checking out that latest Mad magazine, Garfield, or Archie, or whatever comic book. Maybe you were playing a handheld game, okay? Those little LED games from back in the day, the vintage joints, right? Shout out if you remember the Mega Man one, right? Well, these guys over at porcelainpack.com, they've got these really awesome crate boxes. So it's very similar to what you would get from a pro wrestling crate, for example, except in this one, there's like all types of bathroom goodies that you're going to find yourself getting into. Like 1 month, you could be dealing with a handheld game. Another month, you could be finding, a really cool wizard. Remember Wizard? My God, that was like the mecca back in the day for all things movies, TV shows, sci-fi, but most importantly, comic books, especially if you wanted to go right to that auction section to see how your comic book was doing. Lord knows when it came to the death of Superman, for example, I was in that Wizard comic book joint, that Wizard magazine. I was in that joint for at least 5 months trying to see, okay, how much, and yeah, good old days, man. Well, Porcelain Pack, that's what they're doing. So check them out, porcelainpack.com. You can get yourself a subscription for $50 a month, and there's like all types of really cool knickknacks that you can get. So check them out. We're brought to you in part by A Seat at the Table, One Leader's Journey to Embracing Democratic Leadership by Jeremiah Garcia Bach. That's available on Amazon, paperback, and in Kindle format. If you're ready to transform your leadership style, that's the book that you want to pick up. You can discover how Garcia Bach overcame early struggles with team trust and morale, shifting from a controlling approach to one of collaboration and empowerment. Really, really good, inspiring book. Some really great tips you can pick up as well. Shout out to my friends over at Wiseacre Comics at wiseacre.us. Calling all comic book lovers, dreamers, and adventurers from the streets of Chicago to the depths of space, from gripping tales of heroism to heart-pounding battles. Wiseacre Comics delivers stories that rival the greats. They're not just creating comics, they're building worlds. This is a indie Black-owned publishing company that are fighting to bring marginalized creators and fresh, bold stories to life. So if you like some really good alternatives, you like supporting up and coming indie comic promotions and all that, publishers definitely represent. Check them out. We're also brought to you in part by nqbyg.com. Looking for everything in one place. They've got you covered when it comes to trendy women's and men's collections, to comfy shoes, bags, accessories. NQBYG has it all, especially if you're looking for some home decors as well. You know, speaking of clothing, I have found myself on Amazon earlier today. Not a cheap plug, by the way, just comes to mind. I decided I wanted to get a sweatshirt and some sweatpants because over here in the DC metropolitan area, we've been dealing with some frigid temperatures. It's gone down to the single digits, some areas negative. Like that's how frigid it's been. And I remember I was working, let me think. Yeah, it was the other night. Yeah. So earlier this morning. I was working late night early this morning. And I had my thermals on and I had a couple of layers of clothing on, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. No, I wasn't good. I got cold real fucking quick. Uh it was bad. So I went on Amazon and I said, let me see if I can find a sweatshirt, find me some sweatpants. And closest thing I saw, I ended up getting it because I was like, what the hell? I want to feel loose and comfortable and all that. I ended up picking up a Champion sweater and sweatpants. Look kind of cool. So I said, I'll let you guys know how I got it for a good deal though. I got it for about $40. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Shout out to our friends over at the 01 USA Wrestling Promotion. Purchase a $5 tier on their Patreon, and you can receive full access to their videotaping library of their weekly Thursday night show from out in Edgewood, Illinois. Basically, they've got over 100 episodes that goes as far back as pretty much when the promotion first began. I believe episodes going back to January 5th of 2023. You can see a wide range of talents on that weekly show, from veterans that's been at it 18 years or plus to talents that's just starting to get their feet wet and try to climb up the rankings. Check them out. Again, $5 tier joint, get you access to that entire library. Patreon.com/01. Put in the actual number 1 USA. And last but not least, we are brought to you in part by the Carable app, which provides a personalized AI avatar. It's a digital companion, speaks and understands every language, provides emotional support, mental health. You can pretty much use it just like Chat GPT. So check it out on iOS and the Google Play Store. Breaking Boundaries, the new book by Robert D. Murphy, that's available for Kindle and paper book via breakingboundaries-book.com. Can also pick it up in paperbook and Kindle on Amazon. All of these great sponsors represent. Check them out. Nice little wide range, right? Try to keep it in the pulp culture realm and all that good stuff. So at this point, I don't know about a Saturday show. You guys are going to have to look out for that poll. Let me know. But one thing is for certain, there will be a Monday night show That's going to be coming at you guys on January the 27th, 2025, after Raw goes off the air. We'll talk about fallout from that, latest in headlines. We'll also go over the reveal for the Lee Sanders 2025 Wrestling Awards, some fun categories, some new stuff that we'll put in there. And we'll also go over something else that we're supposed to go over too. Two things that we're supposed to go over. It's like another list. It escapes me right now. Don't worry. I'll play the last 25 minutes back and I'll make sure I write it down. But I know there's like some other list thing that we're supposed to get into as well. Be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads. Wherever you get your podcast, just search the RCWR Show. I'm on X. I am on the YouTube. I am on the Facebook. I'm even on the Blue Sky. Keywords, the RCWR Show. Do me a huge favor. Head over to the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe so you don't miss out. Like our content, more likes, all that helps out as far as reaching out to a new audience. Until next go around, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another, my pretty babies. Y'all take care. Peace.